Okay, let's dive in. Welcome to the deep dive. We take those big, messy headline moments, the celebrity stuff that everyone's talking about, and we try to figure out what's really going on underneath. Is it strategy? Is it psychology? Usually, it's a bit of both. Today, we're tackling a huge one, a story that just exploded across hip-hop, social media, everywhere, really. On the surface, it looks like just another celebrity feud, maybe some serious pettiness. But when you dig deeper, wow, it starts to look like a masterclass in, well, maybe calculated branding, opportunism. We are talking about Curtis James Jackson III, 50 Cent, and his immediate, super fast and honestly pretty brutal reaction to what happened with his longtime rival, Sean Diddy Combs. So let's just lay out the facts first because they're pretty heavy. This all kicked off on Friday, October 3rd, 2025. That's when Sean Diddy Combs, who's 55, got his sentence, federal prison. 4 years and 2 months, plus a hefty fine $500,000.
Yeah, and that sentence came after he was found guilty back in July 25 for violating the Federal Mann Act.
Right, the Mann Act. And the conviction was specifically for transporting people across state lines for sexual activities. The reports mentioned it included girlfriends and also male sex workers.
3 serious federal charges.
Exactly. So you've got this massive legal news hitting, a huge figure in the industry facing serious prison time. You'd maybe expect, I don't know, a bit of quiet, some diplomatic silence.
A pause, perhaps?
Not from 50 Cent.
Nope.
Within hours, he was on Twitter, basically trolling Diddy. Publicly. Shamelessly, really. Just seized the moment.
What did he actually say?
His post read, hey to whoever was booking Diddy for speaking engagement. I heard he won't be able to make it. I'm available.
Wow. Just straight to the point.
Right. So that's the big question we need to unpack here. Is this just, the latest chapter in a long, bitter celebrity beef? Or is 50 Cent doing something else? Is this trolling actually like a sophisticated business move? A tool?
I think it's almost certainly the second one. And to really get it, you need to look at it from 2 angles, right? First, you've got the business brain. Curtis Jackson's knack for seeing every public drama, even a rival's downfall, as a kind of market opportunity. But then there's the other lens, the academic side, the psychology of online trolling itself.
Okay.
Because when someone like 50 Cent reacts that fast to news this big, this devastating places, it just screams instant monetization mindset. He saw the gap, right? Diddy's off the speaking circuit. Boom. He positions himself, his brand, as the replacement. It's like a pure market correction almost.
So that's our mission for this deep dive then. Go beyond the tweet, beyond the headlines.
Exactly. We need to understand what trolling really means today online. How does it actually affect fans? Their identity? And crucially, how does it drive consumer behavior, like actual spending? We use some pretty established psychological models, things like social identity theory, to explain what's really happening under the surface when a celebrity gets attacked online, and why, weirdly enough, that attack can sometimes work in their favor.
Okay, the calculated troll. I like it. But yeah, before we get into the calculation, maybe we should flesh out the legal situation that created this opening for him, the Diddy sentencing details.
For sure. Because the legal context is, well, it's incredibly serious. Judge Arun Subramanian in the Southern District of New York handed down that sentence. 50 months, that's the 4 years, 2 months, plus the $500,000 fine. All stemming from that Mann Act conviction, a major federal offense.
And the timeline again, arrested September 2024, found guilty July 2025. So this was hanging over him for a while.
Right. And it's worth noting, the prosecution wanted a much longer sentence. They pushed for over 11 years. That tells you how seriously they viewed the crime.
11 years. Wow. So the 50 months, while serious, was less than what they asked for.
Correct. Judge Subramanian called the final 50-month sentence fair, apparently balancing the crime's severity with some mitigating factors the defense brought up. But it was still a huge public reckoning for Combs, especially with the background noise of other accusations, like those from Cassie Ventura involving domestic violence and other serious offenses.
Yeah, the sources mentioned the courtroom scene was pretty emotional. Diddy apparently gave a statement, said he was truly sorry, and specifically apologized to Cassie Ventura.
And you have to remember his personal context, too. Not officially married, but several high-profile relationships, 7 kids with 4 different women. Quincy, Justin, Christian, Chance, the twins, Delilah and Jesse, and Love Sean.
Right, so you paint that picture, a guy in court, facing prison, apologizing, maybe showing vulnerability.
Exactly, a raw human moment, arguably. And then you contrast that immediately with 50 Cent's reaction, which was cold, transactional, instant.
Totally. Diddy's making this emotional statement in court. 50's online, calculating the market opportunity. He sees a gap in the speaking circuit and jumps in. I'm available.
It just lays bare that core mindset, doesn't it? Chaos, failure, public shame. For Jackson, it seems like it's all potential opportunity, which honestly leads us perfectly into his own history. This
Yeah.
wasn't a one-off. This is his playbook.
Oh, absolutely. This is where it gets really wild. You can't just call 50 Cent a marketing genius without looking at the track record. The man has built a whole career, yeah, on music, but also on, well, some sources call it savagery and beefing.
I saw one analyst describe him as a terrorist, comedian, and war general.
Whoa, that's intense.
But it kind of captures that contradiction he seems to thrive on, right? He uses a provocation very deliberately to get attention and define his brand, usually by tearing down a rival. It's almost like performance art,
Yeah.
but with, real financial stakes.
Okay, prime example. The whole bankruptcy thing. He filed for bankruptcy, right? Specifically to dodge paying a $5 million judgment in a lawsuit.
Mhm.
But while claiming he was broke, he was still posting pictures online, surrounded by stacks of cash.
The sheer audacity.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And then in court, he had to explain it away.
Yeah, he testified that the fancy cars,
Yeah.
mostly rented, the bling, the jewelry, borrowed from a jeweler.
Right, trying to look broke while living large.
But the details are even crazier. He had to justify spending $1,000 a month on haircuts and $5,000 a month on gardening.
$5,000 on gardening, while pleading poverty to avoid a $5 million debt. That's like next-level defiance. It's almost performance.
And don't forget the record sales excuse. When they asked about the income from his, 38 million records sold?
Oh yeah, the famous line.
He claimed he only made 10 cents a record, and then did the math for them. 5 albums times 10 cents equals 50 cents.
It's pure mockery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mocking the court, mocking anyone questioning him. It's all part of the brand.
And that same confrontational, take no prisoners attitude defines his whole approach to rap feuds. It wasn't just diss tracks, it felt like psychological warfare sometimes.
Absolutely. The tactics were often incredibly personal, designed purely to humiliate. Remember his feud with the Game?
Vaguely.
He didn't just rap about him. He put up a mixtape cover with the Game's head photoshopped onto the body of a male stripper. That image just sticks, right? Damages the brand.
Oof. Yeah, that's rough. And Fat Joe. That went on for ages.
Right. He dropped a mixtape making fun of Joe that supposedly got more downloads than Joe's actual album, and then posted that ridiculous video pretending he got seriously injured from listening to Fat Joe's music, rushing to the hospital. Pure comedy, but also undermining his rival constantly.
The Ja Rule thing, though.
Yeah.
That one feels different. More calculated, maybe?
Oh, the concert tickets.
Yeah.
Legendary. He bought 200 front row tickets to a Ja Rule show.
But didn't go.
Nope. Bought them specifically so the seats would be empty, right at the front. Imagine Ja Rule performing to a block of empty seats right in his face.
That's brutal. It's not just losing ticket sales, it's a public power play. Who even thinks of doing that?
Someone who understands the optics, the narrative. It reinforces the 50 Cent brand.
Yeah.
Dominant, untouchable, willing to spend money just to make a point.
It's like financial psychological warfare.
Pretty much. And he did it internally, too. Look at Young Buck from his own G-Unit crew.
Right, he kicked him out, claimed Buck owed him money.
But didn't stop there. He then released a recorded phone call of Young Buck apparently crying and begging to be let back in.
No way. He released the actual call.
Yep, publicly. It's not just about winning the argument. It's about total public humiliation for anyone who crosses him. It ensures the 50 Cent brand controls in the narrative. Who wins, who loses. And the losing is always public.
And it wasn't just rappers he went after, right? It seemed like anyone showing vulnerability was a target.
Definitely. Which makes him, arguably one of the most controversial figures out there. The Rick Ross beef is a whole saga in itself.
Oh, God, Officer Ricky.
Exactly. That was maybe the peak of his extreme tactics, exposing Ross as a former correctional officer, Officer Ricky. He used an interview with Ross's own baby mama to do it.
That just killed his street cred instantly, didn't it?
Absolutely neutered it. Turned him into a meme overnight. But it got darker.
Oh, so?
When Ross was reportedly in the hospital, potentially on life support,
Oh, I remember this. It was grim.
50 Cent didn't stay quiet. He posted a screenshot of Ivan Drago from Rocky IV
Don't tell me.
with the caption, "If he dies, he dies."
Jeez.
That's cold.
Beyond cold. And he didn't stop there. Made a whole cartoon series mocking Ross. Just relentless.
And the sources mentioned he went after people outside music too, like non-rappers who'd shared personal stuff.
Yeah, like Floyd Mayweather. He made that video challenging him to read a page from a book, called it the Fucka Ice Bucket Challenge, just mocking his alleged illiteracy.
Wow.
And Pretty disturbingly, he apparently made fun of Terry Crews after Crews spoke out about being sexually assaulted.
That's just crossing a line, surely.
You'd think so. But it seems like for 50, the internet, especially platforms like Instagram and X, aren't for connection. They're arenas, performance spaces. And the main currency is attention chaos. It's like a system. Even when his ex-partner accused him of liking butt stuff and called him gay,
Yeah.
he didn't back down or ignore it. He leaned into it, turned it into a joke, basically declared himself a troll. He posted something like, man, somebody should have told her I'm a troll. I got my asshole merit badge on now. Asshole merit badge. That quote? It's almost like he's defining his own role, isn't it?
Okay, right.
He's not just a celebrity doing bad things. He's saying, I am the troll. That feels like a shift from just random meanness to strategy, a defined persona.
Precisely. And that's the perfect transition. Let's move from the chaos, the history of savagery, to the calculation. Is he just a terrorist, like that one analyst said, a sociopath?
Right.
Or is he actually a marketing genius who just gets how to weaponize negativity?
And he's actually written about this approach, right? In his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Yep. And the book isn't just a typical celebrity memoir. It really does give you a glimpse into the mindset behind the public trolling.
So he admits the persona is deliberate.
Well, the book strongly suggests it,
Yeah.
that the troll thing is a calculated part of his overall business plan. Jackson seems to understand that in today's media world, you have to constantly adapt, stay relevant. And for him, controversy isn't a side effect, it's the engine.
How does he frame it in the book?
A lot of it is built around this idea of brutal honesty, which for him translates into perceived authenticity. He names names, friends, enemies, people who helped him, no vague stuff. And for his readers, that kind of unfiltered, raw talk feels real, marketable.
So Hustle Smarter isn't about, like, climbing the corporate ladder. It's about surviving conflict.
That's a good way to put it. The main themes are definitely perseverance, trusting your gut, being hyper-confident, always improving. He spins every setback, lawsuits, beefs, even arrests, into a lesson, a motivational story.
So the Diddy tweet, in that context, it's not personal hate, it's business.
It's an economic statement, essentially,
Yeah.
filling a market gap. The goal is always to dominate the conversation, stay visible, and make the 50-cent brand look indestructible, resilient.
And you can't argue with the results, really. His mainstream music career might have peaked years ago, but the 50-cent brand is still incredibly relevant, still making money.
Right. One source pointed out he's kind of shifted from the really extreme, sometimes criminal stuff of his past to what they called memory and cyberbullying.
Which is, let's be honest, probably more profitable and definitely safer legally.
For sure. It maintains relevance, controls the narrative, without the same risks.
Okay, so we get the strategy from 50's side. Now for the really fascinating part. Why does this work on people? Why do fans respond to trolling in ways that might actually help the person being trolled? Or the troll themselves? Let's bring in the academic stuff.
Right, shifting gears from the street to the psych lab. First, let's pin down trolling academically. It's seen as a specific kind of negative online word of mouth. It can range from, sarcastic jokes and gentle teasing all the way to really abusive stuff. Traditionally, companies hated negative wham more than anything.
Yeah, you'd think it's just bad for business, period.
But then you see people like Ryan Reynolds using trolling, almost self-trolling, to build community. Or huge brands like McDonald's actually getting positive buzz by responding smartly, even humorously, to online complaints.
So it's not always bad.
It seems not always. And this paradox that trolling can sometimes benefit a brand or celebrity is where social identity theory, or SIT, comes in.
Okay, SIT. Break that down for us. You're saying an attack on a celebrity feels personal to the fan, like really personal.
Exactly. Think about your favorite sports team. Let's say you're a huge Lakers fan. Someone online trashes the Lakers, calls them washed up.
Okay, I'd probably get annoyed.
Right. You've never met LeBron, but that attack feels like an attack on you, or at least something important to you. That's SIT. It says we build our sense of self not just from our own traits, but also from the groups and things we identify with our in-groups, our favorite bands, our teams, our favorite celebrities. They become objects essential to our identity.
So they're part of us, in a way.
In a psychological sense, yes. Which means when that part of our identity gets threatened, like when a troll attacks our favorite singer, we have to defend it, just like we defend ourselves.
Okay, self-defense. I get that emotionally. But how does defending your favorite singer online translate into actually buying stuff? Pulling out your wallet? That seems like a leap.
It is a leap, but there's a model for it. It's called the anxiety to approach model. It maps out that jump in 2 phases. It sounds a bit technical, but it's key to understanding why trolling can lead to sales.
All right, let's hear it. Phase A.
Phase A is the anxious response. This involves a part of the brain system called the behavioral inhibition system, or BIS. Think of the BIS like your internal smoke detector for psychological threats.
Okay, BIS threat detector.
Right, so a troll attacks your idol. This creates a conflict, a discrepancy. Your reality is, I'm a fan of this awesome, successful celebrity. The troll's message is, this celebrity is actually terrible with phenolphthalein failure. That conflict triggers the BIS, and the BIS generates immediate, unpleasant feelings. Anxiety, uncertainty, cognitive dissonance. These are negative emotions the brain desperately wants to get rid of.
So the troll comment literally makes the fan feel anxious, like a real stress response.
Yes, because it's threatening a part of their self-concept, their psychological stability. The brain hates inconsistency. That feeling of anxiety is a signal. Something's wrong. Fix it.
Okay, so the fan feels bad. What's phase B? How do they fix it?
Phase B is the defensive response. This kicks in to reduce that anxiety. It's driven by another brain system, the behavioral approach system, or BAS.
BAS, solution finder.
Kind of, yeah. The BAS motivates actions to escape the negative feeling. And the defenses often involve strengthening your connection to the threatened identity group. So fans might engage in social categorization, strongly identifying as us, the fans, versus them, the trolls. They show in-group bias, favoring anything related to the celebrity.
Yeah.
They double down on their group affiliation.
Okay, so they get more tribal, more defensive of the group.
Exactly. And here's the crucial link to spending. Consumption becomes a way to do that. It becomes a tool.
Also,
Buying the celebrity's album, wearing their merch, streaming their music. These acts become symboling and communicative. They're symbolic actions that reaffirm the fan's identity, signal their loyalty, and mentally push back against the troll's threat. It's like saying, see, this celebrity I is great, and I'm proving it by consuming their stuff. It helps restore that feeling of psychological consistency and reduces the anxiety.
so they might even buy more than they otherwise would have just to make that point, to feel better.
That's the idea. The model suggests this can lead to an exaggerated willingness to purchase, or WTP, especially for products directly linked to the celebrity. It's a defense mechanism manifested through consumption.
Wow. Okay, that model connects the dots. So how did the actual studies test this? They measured how much someone identified as a fan, right? And then saw how trolling affected their willingness to buy.
Precisely. The academic studies, labeled 1A and 1B in the research we looked at, provide the empirical backing. First key finding. The whole process needs the threat. They found that strong fan identity only correlated positively with negative emotions like anxiety when trolling comments were present. If the comments about the celebrity were positive or just neutral, that link wasn't significant.
So the troll attack is the necessary spark.
It's the trigger, yeah. Without the threat, the defensive spending mechanism doesn't kick in.
Did it matter what kind of celebrity it was? Like musician versus actor?
Huge difference, apparently. The study found that fans who chose music artists or bands as their favorites showed the biggest jump in willingness to buy when faced with trolling, more so than fans of actors, athletes, or general influencers.
Why music specifically?
The thinking is that music is often tied much more deeply to our personal identity, right? The bands we like, the genres we listen to, they say something about who we are, what tribes we belong to. People wear the t-shirt, go to the shows. It's a core part of self-expression for many.
Yeah, that makes sense. So an attack on your favorite musician feels like a really deep personal attack.
Potentially, yes. More potent than an attack on, say, an actor whose movie you enjoyed.
Okay, so this seems almost custom built for someone like 50 Cent, right? He cultivates super loyal fans who probably identify really strongly with his whole against the world persona.
Absolutely. But the studies also found something tricky, almost contradictory, about the type of purchase. Private buying versus public buying.
What do you mean?
This is maybe the most important nuance. It distinguishes between immediate gut reactions and more considered long-term behavior. Study 1A looked at private willingness to purchase. Think things you do alone, streaming music, maybe buying a digital album, or buying a product endorsed by the celeb that nobody else really sees.
Okay, stuff that reaffirms your identity to yourself.
Exactly. And in that condition, fans with high self-identity, the really strong fans, showed a significant increase in willingness to purchase when they saw the trolling comments.
So SIT in action, the immediate defensive purchase.
Yep. It's like a quick private ritual to shore up their identity and push back the anxiety. I'll show that troll I'm streaming the whole back catalog.
But then, Study 1B looked at public purchases.
Right. Things like buying expensive merch to wear out, going to a concert where everyone sees you, publicly supporting a cause the celebrity backs. Things that visibly tie you to them.
And what happened there?
For those same highly identified fans, the effect flipped. They showed a lower willingness to make those public purchases when exposed to trolling compared to when they saw positive comments.
Wait, lower. Why, if they're defending the celebrity?
Because this seems to tap into a longer-term or distal defense mechanism. When the purchase requires a big public commitment, a long-term association, the negative information from the troll starts to matter more. It aligns more with traditional negative word-of-mouth effects. Fans might privately still love their idol and buy their music, but they might become hesitant to publicly advertise their allegiance if the celebrity is now perceived as damaged or controversial.
Ah, okay. So private support goes up immediately, but public support might dip long-term if the controversy is big enough.
That seems to be the pattern, yeah.
So it all really hinges on how strongly the fan identifies with the celebrity in the first place, if there's like a threshold.
Exactly. The study calls this the self-identity benchmark. It's the key takeaway.
Yeah.
If your self-identity tied to that celeb is HEH, you're super invested. You show that increase in WTP under threat, especially private WTP. That's the SIT defense. You compensate for the anxiety by buying.
But if your identity connection is LOW, you're just a casual listener, maybe.
Then you behave more like traditional marketing predicts. The trolling acts as negative WOM, and you show a decrease in WTP. You just avoid the controversy, avoid the product.
Okay, this has huge implications. Are you suggesting companies or celebrities should actually want some negative comments? That sounds completely backwards from old school marketing.
It's definitely counterintuitive, but the research points towards managing negativity, not just trying to delete it all.
Manage it how?
The idea is that trolls, even hostile ones, can actually bring attention. And more importantly, they can activate your most loyal base, the high-identity fans, who actually drive a lot of engagement and sales. So the implication for brands or celebs is maybe you play the psychological threat demand.
Play the demand. What does that mean?
When a troll attacks, instead of just ignoring it or fighting back randomly, you can respond in a way that emphasizes the brand's symbolic value. Reinforce that deep personal connection your core fans feel. You use the controversy itself to remind them why they identify with you, triggering that defensive purchase mechanism among the people who matter most.
So someone like 50 Cent, he seems like a natural at this. His whole brand is built on conflict, on creating that us versus them dynamic with his fans.
He practically architects these situations. He understands that polarization creates a fiercely loyal in-group.
So when he attacks Diddy, it helps him by removing a rival and solidifying his own image.
Right. But if someone attacked 50 Cent, the same mechanism would likely kick in for his brand. His core fans would feel attacked too, and that defensive spending response could get triggered.
So the troll, in a weird way, becomes like an unpaid marketing assistant for the target's best customer.
That's one way to look at it, yeah. An unwitting one for sure.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We started with the news. Diddy sentenced, 50 Cent immediately swoops in with that tweet about speaking gigs. Pure opportunism.
Then we dug into 50's history. The bankruptcy theater, the $5 kale gardening, the Savage Rappies, Officer Ricky, the empty concert seats for Ja Rule. All pointing towards a calculated strategy, not just random chaos. A philosophy he even outlines in his book, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, using controversy as a tool.
And then we got into the psychology, social identity theory, how fans see celebrities as part of themselves, and the anxiety to approach model.
Right. Showing how a troll's attack creates anxiety in strong fans.
Which they resolve through defensive actions, including buying stuff, especially private consumption, to reaffirm their identity.
And the key factor being that self-identity benchmark. High identity leads to defensive buying under threat. Low identity leads to avoidance.
So the big insight here is that celebrities who build those really intense fan connections can actually benefit from perceived attacks. Their most loyal fans respond to threats with their wallets, basically, to protect their own sense of self.
It totally reframes celebrity beefs, doesn't it? It's not just gossip. It can be targeted psychological marketing.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought for you to chew on. Think about 50 Cent. His whole life seems like a masterclass in navigating conflict, strategy, understanding human nature at its rawest. Does this mean he intuitively knows he's tapping into this anxiety to approach model every time he launches an attack? Is he consciously triggering defensive spending in his own fans or trying to damage the connection rivals have with theirs?
And if he is, even subconsciously, how does that change the way you look at the next big celebrity feud you see blow up online? Is it just drama? Or is it a calculated campaign designed to harness our own psychological defenses for profit?